Hello everyone and welcome back to a top level game of professional StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you today is my very first video in the new year. Now, as of me recording this, it's not actually 2023 yet, but I mean, if I wouldn't have said that, you wouldn't have known. Either way, I just want to take a moment to wish you all a very happy new year. I hope that 2023 is going to be amazing for you. Now, I figured it would be fun to start the year off strong by having a look at a best-of-7 series of high-level SC2. I don't really cast a whole lot of best-of-7s, because there's not that many of them being played. All of the games, however, today are gonna be played on the maps that did really well during the most recent map contest. So game number 1 in this best-of-7, it starts off on a map called Altitude. Spotting right here in the top right-hand corner, playing with the red Terran SCVs from South Korea, we have Maru. His opponent and teammate, both of these players are on-site. Playing with the blue Zerg drones, we're looking at Solar's main hatchery. Alrighty, now, Altitude. It's the map with the funny golden minerals right over here. I have casted about a dozen games on this map so far in the hopes that this golden base will actually come into play. None of the games that I've seen on this map have actually featured the golden minerals, which is a bit of a shame because it's a cool concept, but again, I don't think this is really something that we'll see unless the games really go the distance. And actually, most of the games I've seen on this map so far, they go pretty quick. Most of the games are below like the 8-minute mark for some reason. I guess maybe players aren't excited about the golden minerals, at least not like I am. So real quick, in case you haven't seen this map before, there's a watchtower, there's a cooling tower, you kill the cooling tower, it collapses on top of the watchtower, leaving around a bunch of debris. Then you kill the debris, and then you can make an expansion here. It's probably 17 too many hoops to jump through for a player to really consider this, but I mean, it's 8 golden mineral fields, which is 2 more than you normally get. Maybe it was like a, if it was like a 12 field golden minerals, like we get like a full, well, like a crescent moon, a concave, there you go. Anyways, yeah, maybe if there were like 12 golden minerals, the players would be rushing for it, but as it is right now, I've looked at a lot of games, I've casted a lot of games, I've not uploaded really that many of them at all, because none of them we actually saw those golden minerals come out, but maybe today is the day. So, this Best-of-7 series is the grand finals of the 2022 finale for the OlimoLeague. Maybe the finale of the OlimoLeague altogether. That does mean that, yeah, these players obviously are playing for a good chunk of money as well. They've already been chatting away at one another, which is actually kind of neat. I've casted a lot of Korean SC2 over the last couple of weeks, and it seems to me that all of them are very good friends lately. Yeah, they're just... I mean, I have no idea what they're saying, but at least they haven't been trash-talking each other all that much. Every single time, by the way, and I think this is amazing, every single time that there is a lot of chatting going on in one of the games of StarCraft 2, there's always someone in the comment section of the video that is translating for us. Now, obviously, I don't know what they're saying right now, but if you're interested, there is a chance, at least, that there's someone in the comment section that gave you the full translation of exactly what is being said. So maybe you can pause and then, you know, read back as to what the players were talking about. Anyways, look at that. Maru starting off this best-of-7 with a little bit of spice, as he's going for a mech build. Alright then. Now this is not your conventional mech build, as he's decided to go straight into triple factory. Normally with mech we see like a 1-1-1 with a quick third command center and all that, and then eventually, I think this must be like a Blue Flame Hellion build, isn't it? If he goes for another reactor? No, there's no way. Can you even afford that much production off of 2 expansions? I'm not exactly sure. That's also a lot of gas. What is he going to use the third factory for? I thought this was maybe just going to be like Blue Flame Hellions. No, it's going to be Cyclones. Okay. Interesting. So that's going to be another tech lab. He could have probably made that on the barracks. And then, you know, done the big switcheroo. But apparently, okay, it is going to be Blue Flame. But then I guess with Hellions and Cyclones, as far as the attack goes, this is not something that should work that well. So right now, sees the flying barracks, and he's like, question mark, what's going on right now? That is not something you normally do. Question is this Overlord gonna see the additional factories? Oh well, he sees a Cyclone. I honestly think that's all he needs to know. Yeah, he posts another question mark, so that his Solar telling him, hey, you know what? I've seen what you're trying to get done right now. He's gonna scout the right side of the map as well, just to make sure that there's no proxies on that end, but as long as he makes enough units, he should be okay. Only just now, though, is when that Roach Warren was fired up. I like this. Teammates playing against each other. Memeing each other a little bit as well, despite the fact that there's money on the line. You love to see that. Solar, by the way, ended up winning the GSL Super Tournament not too long ago. That may have actually been the last Premier Tournament of the year. No, actually, no, that's not the case. Anyways, he won that like a month or two ago at this point. There's the there's the barracks as well. Giving vision at least to the Overlord, I guess. I mean, if these Cyclones and maybe the Marines wanted to gun that down, they would have a chance to do so. He's actually droning Solar, that is. So Solar is not respecting this at all, as he's even sending Zerglings right now for the counterattack. Yeah, Solar droning in the middle of a fight is a massive indicator that he's feeling very confident. Maybe it was misplaced though. These are Blue Flame Hellions right now, so they deal a ton of damage to light units in particular. Roaches, however, are spawning. Roaches, of course, are armored. You know what? Maybe the droning was justified. At the same time, there's a little bit of a Cyclone attack over here. But this does not strike a lot of confidence, okay? This is not a particularly impressive attack. I mean, sure, this Cyclone has got 1 kill right now. It's been in the mineral line since forever. That was very expensive, Maru. That was very expensive. I don't think that was particularly useful. Okay. Problem is, when you only have 1 Hellion here in the mix, your very expensive Cyclones may end up getting surrounded. Cyclones are only a little bit cheaper than like a siege tank, but imagine... imagine, I don't need to be, you know, I don't need to be a fluent Korean speaker to figure out what they're joking about here. But yeah, losing a bunch of Cyclones is really not what you want at all. One thing that's always seemed kind of funny to me is that one of the counters to Terran MECH is Mutalisks. It doesn't really make a lot of sense when you think about it only for about 5 seconds, but when you think about it for a little bit longer than that, the Mutas can simply be where the Terran MECH army is not. Terran MECH usually quite slow. We don't usually see Mutas, however, against a Cyclone-based army. So I'm guessing here that Solar is calling his opponent's bluff, and that he's likely going to be switching on over towards, well, for example, a bunch of tanks here very shortly. I mean, he really should. If he doesn't, just good old Roaches and Zerglings are going to overwhelm this before too long. I mean, Roach speed at this point is about halfway done. If he just makes a whole lot of Roaches and there's no siege tanks available, Maru will just simply lose the game. He's going for another command center. He's still going Cyclones. He's now going into double starport as well with tech labs on these. So maybe... what's he doing? Is he gonna go Benchies? Okay, nice round over there. Oh my god, it's Benchies. So he's planning on countering a Roach attack with Benchies? I've got nothing, guys. This I don't think this is the way you want to play. Now, obviously, Maru is considered to be the best Terran player in StarCraft 2 of all time. So maybe he knows something that I don't. Look at this. He's going Hyperflight Rotors together with the cloaking upgrade for the Benchies as well. I'm a little bit scared of this attack, though, that's coming out of Solar very soon. Maybe if he can split... that's honestly not that many Roaches. Maybe if he can split up his units properly and micro them well, he can get some work done. In the meantime, though, Mutas are out. Maybe if Maru can create enough confusion, he can actually somehow, some way, figure out a way to... I mean, if this goes on for like another 5 minutes, things are gonna be great. It's just that I've got a feeling it won't. Yeah, now the Benchies show up. Last time I checked, Benchies are not particularly good against Mutalisks, because, well, they only shoot at ground units. Okay, well, GG. Next up, we find ourselves on Cryolysis. I decided to fast forward through the first 2 minutes of this game. Not surprised to see that they're once again chatting. Anyways, I decided to fast forward just because the early game is obviously well figured out at this point, and nothing all too spicy happened. Solar decides to go for 6 Zerglings right now, rather than the conventional 4. But, as I've said many times before over the last couple of months, the Koreans like to go for 6 Zerglings rather than the conventional 4. Don't really know exactly as to why. The idea being, I guess, that you don't lose any Zerglings at all. But, obviously, you end up losing what is effectively 1 drone. Ugh. If you lose a drone here, that'd be awful. With 6 Zerglings, losing a drone would really suck. Anyways, 2 of those Zerglings, I mean, even though they are brothers, right, that could have just been 1. When you think about it, Zerglings really are an Archon that could have been a drone. Think about it, okay, for a little bit longer than... okay, no, don't think about it for too long, because it gets weird. Triple hatch opener right here for Solar. There's this, like, moving thing on Cryolysis below every expansion, I think. Yeah, look at this. Actually really cool. There have been maps in the past, and this bothered me a lot. Okay, if you're a map maker out there or an aspiring map maker, please take note. Where sometimes these like little graphical things are not centered perfectly on where an expansion would actually be. Some of you that play a lot of StarCraft will probably know what I'm talking about. When this little center over here is like right over there, and then you come and expand, and like for some... No, okay? This is super important when you're making a StarCraft 2 map to be perfectly centered. This is also, yeah, the map with the massive Ursa decks that are just wandering around, glitching their massive blades into the ramps for some reason. I'm not exactly sure as to why. Anyhow, a little bit of harassment right here from Maru. This time around, he's going for what we consider to be the standard opener. No question mark here as Solar flies in his Overlord at about 345. He's scouting around right now. He would have loved to see that armory go down to the back of that mineral line. Seeing the armory is nice, because, well, it would give you the information that the Hellions can start turning into Hellbats. That's the requirement for those Hellions. For them to become Hellbats, they, yeah, randomly become biological as well. I still don't quite understand that. So Hellions are mechanical, but Hellbats are mechanical and biological. The implication there is that, for some reason, Hellions can be only repaired by SCVs, but Hellbats can be repaired and healed by a medevac simultaneously. We never see that, but maybe at some point. That'd be kind of sick. The one immortal Hellbat. A group of SCVs to surround them, a medevac up in the skies. Beautiful. Alright, once again, a Roach Warren here from Solar. This is kind of cool. We saw Rogue do this a lot historically. Rogue currently doing his mandatory military service, so that kind of, yeah, is a little bit disappointing, but maybe Rogue is here in spirit as Solar decides to go for a quick Roach Warren. Roach Warren's usually not that popular. At least not in the Zerg versus Terran matchup. I mean, Dark has done it a lot as well, of course. A lot of the European Zergs, at least, they prefer playing Ling Bane, more so than anything else. Hellion drop in the main base, one landed Viking as well. Now there's the Hellbats. And suddenly they can get healed. How does that work? Nobody knows. Settling for a spawning pool is, I don't think, what you want to aim for, but at the same time, there's also a push right here on the right side of the map. No splits here by Solar. Hello, transfusions? No. He ends up losing a bunch of queens for practically free. This is looking really nice right now here for Maru, who hasn't done a lot of economical damage yet, although, well, he's forced a lot of drones away from their mineral lines, I suppose. Those queens would have done a much better job if they kept each other alive and would have been split up to negate that splash damage from the Hellbats. Misplay right there from Solar. He had all the right tools, but not the right execution. There we go. That's those drones that we're not mining. Solar right now. Yo, bro, why'd you do that to me? That was not very cool. How many Hellions was that, though? 10 Hellions. Or Hellbats, I guess. They, started life as a Hellion, but ended as a Hellbat. That's beautiful. Triple CC on the back of it, too? Wait, no. Oh, wait, hold up. It's the third CC right now. I was gonna say, that'd be really weird. He's got 3 mules mining, which is what threw me off, but I guess he was just late. He's even got 4 mules right now. Maybe there's a 4th already, I just didn't see it. Anyways, I guess he must have been microing his own Hellbats, and he was a little bit late right there with throwing those additional mules onto the mineral line. 4 mules at once, though, is really going to mine out that natural expansion super quickly. Anyway, only just now is when the 3rd command center is about to finish up. So that does mean that Solar for a while here, yeah, is going to be able to drone up pretty hard. So that's the downside of these openers. Like, sure, he's done a lot of damage, and that's nice and all, but has he really done any real damage, though, right? Because Solar at this point is already back up to significantly more workers than Maru. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was still an excellent trade for the Terran player, but yeah, I think there's a lot of Terran players out there that, you know, will post angry messages on the StarCraft 2 forum saying, well, I killed all of their economy, and then, you know, I leave for like 2 minutes and they're fully saturated again. Zerg is so broken. I've seen many of those posts over the years. Turns out when you take a significant economical hit yourself as well in the early game, you have to justify it. You have to justify it. Now, Maru certainly did justify it, but it's yeah, it's very important at this point to not overestimate your own advantage here. Okay. Maru loading up the double medevac drop. Creep spread is looking amazing, by the way. Now, sadly here for Maru, yeah, he's gonna be met by... Oh, well. It was sad here for Maru for a moment, and then the mutas were not paid attention to. Good splits right there by Solar. Sneaking a couple into the main base, and still finding, okay, a base here that is not protected. Metavex, okay, are joining the main base too to try and bring some Marines over here. 5 SCVs, nothing all too bad, but in the end, I don't think he killed a single muta. No, not a single muta has gone down, although, well, intercepting the retreat path here turned out to be nice, but now he's gonna lose a couple more of those SCVs. Okay. 8 SCVs for 4 mutas. Again, not a terrible trade. This is actually what threw me off when I first had a look at Cryolysis. I thought this was a wall. If you look at the minimap, it kind of looks like this is a wall, but it's not. It's just a bunch of side blockers. So units can go, yeah. I mean, right now Solar has units on either side, so you can see across. But say there is a Terran army parked over here, and there's a Zerg army over here. They might not even know of each other's existence until a unit steps through that fog wall here. Okay. Maru venturing out into the map. It's important to try and push this back, of course, because otherwise, well, life can get a little bit tricky. When Zerg is spreading creep right next to your expansions, things become a little bit more difficult. +2/+2 is about to finish here for Maru. Well, +2 armor is a little bit behind at least. But the +2 attack upgrades here for those biological units are gonna finish here very soon. And that's super nice for him, because that will allow him to move out onto the map much more confidently. He needs to get rid of the creep. That's exactly what Solar is trying to use to his advantage right now. He's very far behind here, actually, with his own upgrades. It's because he decided to go for mutas. Okay, magic boxing as well to try and make sure that he doesn't get caught off guard by a Thor. He's been stimming very, very generously, though. Maru doesn't have a lot of HP right now on a lot of those units. I mean, there are Metavex up in the skies, but they're going to be pretty much without energy if he does decide to go for an attack right now. Okay, Siege Tank sieging up. Is he gonna get out? He is gonna get out, but there are a bunch of Banelings morphing in this location. I don't think that's the spot. Okay, this is where Maru can really show, though, why he's considered to be the best Terran player on the planet. He's very good in these engagements. Let's see, is this micro, well, strong enough today as well? Splitting up the units, trying to maximize the surface area as well, and that was excellent. He ends up losing a ton of siege tanks. Reinforcements from the Zerg are gonna show up very soon, so maybe he overextends a little bit here, yeah. Problem is, it's difficult to retreat here with those Metavex against those mutas. Luckily, he's got boost available, and honestly, there's not that many mutas anymore. No, 11 of them have gone down. I mean, that was a pretty good trade. Problem here for Maru, though, is that economically speaking, he just doesn't have that much. He's got 3 bases. There's no 4th command center to be seen anywhere. For all intents and purposes, this is a 3-base all-in right now for Maru. A lot of the top-tier Terran players have been going for this build where you go for 8 barracks. I'm assuming it's 8. Yeah, 8 barracks here on 3 command centers only. Which is the exact opposite of what we've seen Maru play many times in the past, where he's playing that very turtley style. Where he just simply sits back and he defends and he defends and then he defends some more and then he makes 17 command centers. This is kind of on the opposite end of that spectrum. It means, though, that you will run out of juice a little bit quicker. Okay, well, those corrosive piles connecting with Zerg units more so than any of the Terrans. One thing, of course, though, that you can do with Terran is fly these command centers around, so once this base runs out, he can move it on over, for example, over here. But Solar is not sitting still. Solar has been at an economical advantage for, well, you can see about 5-ish minutes right now. Which is significant, because even though the trades may have been a little bit Terran favored, cost efficiency-wise, over time, Solar does not need to trade very cost efficient at all. He's gonna max out right now. He's gonna start making a bank. And when his bank is big enough, he can remax, even though Terran is gonna step onto the creep. The creep here is also a very important part of this battle. There, the command center, by the way, is leaving. Yeah, it's heading on over towards that 4th base. But this is exactly what Solar wants. Solar has decided to go into a hive. I wonder if he's gonna go straight into Ultras here. Actually, normally Ultras aren't that good, but I don't mind Ultralisks in this particular circumstance. Is he gonna go Ultras? I think it's the right call. I mean, it needs a little bit of money. Yeah, there it is. Okay. So Ultras are great when you're ahead. And when your opponent is stuck on Marine Siege Tank. Maru, with only 3 command centers, cannot really go for ghosts. He can't really transition towards those later game units because he just simply doesn't have the eco for it. Now he's going for a Thor, he's mixing in a couple Marauders, so that's nice, I guess, but it's difficult for him to get a proper counter against those Ultralisks. So if Solar can get there, it's fantastic. That being said, it's still a couple minutes away. Maru is thinking about being aggressive once more, now with 3-3 finishing up for his infantry. The creep hasn't moved that far, but this is a nice counterattack. Solar buying a little bit of time. Keep in mind that Ultras do need chitinous plating, especially against +3 Marines. Okay, well, it starts up right away. We see this upgrade forgotten all the time. Push here in the middle of the map as well, but that is Solar just posturing, forcing those tanks to siege up, slowing down the Terran. Honestly, excellent movement here from Solar. Solar is playing a killer series so far. Okay, this is now a complete all-in here from Maru. If you look at the army value, though, it's 120 supply right now for Maru versus 114 for Solar. Okay, siege tanks. Okay, they're running in the fray as well eventually. A little bit late on that siege up, maybe. Maru, though, is losing a lot of stuff at home. Now also the SCVs at that newly acquired base are going to fall. And as long as Solar can clean up these units here, he's gonna be A-okay. Bailing Nest goes down. Spire is gonna go down as well. Ultras are about to spawn, but they don't have chitinous just yet. Is he going to commit with these units? Oh, look how much damage they take, though, in a very short amount of time. Oh my god, is Maru actually pulling this off? That would be nuts. I don't think he's got enough. No. It's mostly Medivacs remaining. It's 13 Medivacs right now and 21 Marines. I mean, I want to believe he's making this awful close. Solar still at 79 drones. He should not be giving this one away anymore. Chitinous plating is going to finish up. Overlords here are going to get sniped out of the sky, I suppose, but that is not going to justify losing all these units. And now apparently is the moment where Solar decides to collapse on top of his army. That Ultra is still getting destroyed, but at the very least it tanked a lot of damage for those Zerglings and Mutas to put in the work. Solar, I think, is going to be 2-0 ahead in this best-of-7 very soon. Beautiful movement, man. Solar really has found a second wind lately, right? Like, he's been playing some fantastic StarCraft too. GG. Next up, Lazarus Wastes. Did I mention the prize pool, by the way, for this particular tournament? I don't think I've brought it up yet. If I have, just ignore me for the next couple seconds. But the first place prize is 1.5 million Korean won, which comes down to about $1,169. And for second place prize, it's half that. So $584 for second place. So far, though, things are not looking all too promising here for Maru. Let me just set up the scoreboard. There we go. So far, things aren't looking all too, great here for Maru. Solar playing like a fiddle. I mean, to be fair, game number 1 was a little bit of a spicy game. Game number 2, however, was Maru playing what he had planned. Going for the triple CC and staying on the triple CC with 8 barracks in total. Maybe we need to see a little bit of that Maru turtle style, right? That he really has perfected over the course of the last couple years. I mean, then again, this series is played on a bunch of new maps. And I'm pretty sure in order to play that turtle style, you need to lose a bunch of games while playing on those new maps. So what are the problems you run into? I mean, none of these maps are like final for the ladder, right? So I would not imagine that these guys have put in a ton of work practicing these maps, but I can imagine that if you want to play that turtle style, you really need to know where you can split your siege tanks and what the perfect position is and where you need to be putting your structures and when you should be putting down your sensor towers and all that. Maru probably has a good idea for it, but the execution is going to be a bit tricky. So maybe he's going to play a little bit differently in this series than we are used to because of that. Either way, double Marine opener this time around. Solar says, Rmwal. I know these guys switch to like an international layout and a Korean layout on their keyboards all the time. I'm assuming that's the same thing, but on the Korean key. Okay, there's Maru saying, ha! Any Korean character repeated indicates laughing, okay? That's how that works. Z's in particular. Rather than ha 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 ha. Z Z Z Z Z. I don't understand it either, but it's okay. It's alright. I've actually never been to Korea personally. As someone who's been casting StarCraft 2, like, for well, pretty much a living, right? I mean, I do a lot of other stuff as well, I guess, but most of my content, at least on YouTube these days, is me casting games of StarCraft 2. It almost feels like a pilgrimage, you know? It's at some point, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go to the GSL studio and just, you know, look at the floor and imagine all the pro gamers that have walked on that same floor as me. I think it's important. I'm not gonna walk, though. One day. I mean, I guess what I'm still secretly hoping for, right? Don't tell anyone, but I'm still secretly hoping that at some point there's gonna be a tournament that takes place over in South Korea, and I'll get invited for it. So, you know, someone will actually, like, you know, and then I don't have to, you know, think about it all too much. That'll be excellent. But, you know, that's what I've been... Ooh, we have a bailing nest over here. Sorry, I'm talking about unrelated stuff. Bailing bus coming up out of Solar here. Ay. Those Marines, for some reason, just sunbathing right there away from that bunker. Not entirely sure what they were even trying to achieve. Maybe kill like a scouting Zergling or something like that, but Solar jumps at the opportunity. You wanted to go Banelings? Turns out you don't need Banelings if your opponent's front door is wide open. Nothing to bust down. Even the Mule's right here in a little bit of trouble. Now he can go for a couple Banes, and honestly, there's not a whole lot he can do. Okay, he decides to put him on the ramp. This is not something Maru can really see, although he saw those units disappear, right? Why would they be running backwards? Honestly, I think you can just roll into the barracks itself right now. That's going to blow up both of the supply depots. Maybe hunting down one of the supply depots here is a little bit better. Command center coming up. He wants to create a full wall off. Okay. He does decide to go for at least the majority of the depots. And I think that's game over, guys. Yeah. So, of course, in a best-of-7 series, the first player to win 4 maps is the victor. Solar is 3-0 over Maru right now. I'm assuming that... I mean, winning 4 games in a row against Solar, nobody can really do that. Good luck, Maru. Gonna have to tighten things up a little bit. I can't believe that those Marines were just sunbathing at the bottom of the ramp as well, though. They were just standing there. Sometimes you end up getting a little bit too fancy. Next up, we find ourselves on the map Royal Blood. It's with the messed up carpets, okay? I can't get over the carpets. They just don't look right. Look at this. Who would make that? I mean, this one connects a little bit better, but the color is all off. The texture on the... It's also the map with Blackheart's doubloons over here. So, you know, at least we got that going for us. Look at that beautiful sparkle there on that massive diamond. Maybe that's what we're fighting over right here on Royal Blood. Gold has never really been that important here for Terrans or for Zergs, but... maybe that's the story of this map, who knows? Ooh, these rocks are actually... we haven't really seen these rocks come into play, but that's actually interesting. So there's 2 sets of debris over here that you can destroy to make a pathway in that direction. Huh. Alright. Anyways, let's look at the Reaper control. Did we only go 2 Zerglings? No, we do have 4. Where are the other 4? Well, they're here right now. I guess they must have just spawned while I was looking in the production tab or the unit tab. Either way. Probably autopilot there on accident. It happens, even at this level. That's a queen. Defending her brood. You love to see it. She's got spines on her butt. Don't mess around with Brenda, okay? She's dangerous. She's lethal. She does not mess around. Brave Reaper, by the way. Like, if you imagine the Reaper is like, you know, probably like, I don't know, like, say like a 6-foot guy. He's like 180. He's in a Reaper suit, right? So he's obviously a little off the ground. Maybe he's like 2 meters up in the air, right? That queen is massive. That queen is like, you know, just the top of her forehead is probably like 4 or 5 meters. And then those, you know, things that come out of her, that thing is huge, man. It's the size of a house. Very small house, but still. Dangerous. Very dangerous here. But apparently, the Reaper, it laughs in the face of danger. I mean, you can't hear it. You can't hear him cackling, but... Okay. Okay. Got a flag. So, if you're Solar right now, you've got 4 games to play with. That's a lot of games. I would already have put down my Roach Warren. I think the latest you can really go for a Roach push is like maybe a 4-minute Roach Warren if you really want to stretch it. But usually for an aggressive Roach-based push, I think 3:30 is good. And this would have been against a Liberator opener too, so it would have worked out quite well. Triple CC with Liberators. I mean, the Roach push would arrive at about, depending on when you put down a Roach Warren, right? But between right now and like 30 seconds from now, there's not really that much that is good against Roaches here. And Maru would have no idea. I mean, he saw, I guess, a couple drones over at the 3rd. But those could be transferred. There's very little tell right now for Maru that the build that he's playing is safe. So this is a triple CC opener with Hellions and Liberators. Good scout right here by Solar. Very beautiful scout, actually. Spore Crawler is already in position as well. Creep Spread is looking good. Okay, I think Solar wants to go out with a bang here. He wants to win another macro game here. Can't blame him. I mean, the Baneling bust worked out quite well, right? Brenda, no! It's fine, actually. Carry on, Brenda. Maybe that wasn't Brenda. Maybe that was Susan. Maybe these Hellions can get something done. Ooh! Ooh, that's so close! Oh, no. I've got a feeling, if this map ever makes it to the map pool, that we're gonna see a ton of Hellions die against the benches of this beautiful fountain. Well, that was some very shaky camera work. Sorry. I mean, it's beautiful. Those benches are huge, by the way. What palace is this in anyways? This place is called Royal Blood. A queen, we already discussed the size of a queen, could not sit comfortably on that, okay? You gotta be huge. Those benches make no sense. Yeah. The more I look at this map, the less it makes sense. I'm sorry to the map maker. The layout and all that is good, but there's some things I just can't get over, okay? Especially the carpets. Are you kidding? Or the carpet, a rug, whatever you want to call it. No. Every time I see this map, they bother me more. I would hope I would get over it at some point, but... Anyway, follow-up right now is going to be a Widowmine play. Siege tanks haven't worked so well for Maru so far in this series, so we're going to be going for some Widow memes instead. None right here in these medeffects, though, so just a bunch of Marines. Good scout once again from Solar. Solar is on point, man. He's just randomly sending Zerglings around. And, excuse me, like sometimes they catch units on the move out. That's fantastic. Okay. Solar a little bit later on those upgrades. That was honestly a pretty good trade. 28 Zerglings so far. Big chunk of the Terran army moving across. Obviously, those Widow Mines do have a little bit of randomness. You never know exactly where they're going to detonate. Sometimes they detonate in the middle of your own Marine ball, which is not ideal. I mean, you can manually control them if you want to. Maru will probably try and do exactly that. Bane speed is nowhere to be seen just yet, though. And this is actually kind of tricky here for Solar. Without Baneling speed, I mean, he finished 1-1. That's nice and all, but he's got very few units. 29 Zerglings because he ended up losing so many already. Widowmine, okay, connects right there with a group of that Baneling clump. Is there enough here for the Zerg to clean this up? Well, this is a really good fight actually for Maru right now. Yeah, he's bleeding out a ton of units. Solar, that is. One of the medeffects goes down. Okay. At least the hatchery lives. That's the most important part here. Centrifugal hooks is not too far behind, so that's the roly-poly upgrade for those Banelings. Yeah, he's gonna need a bunch of them as well. Without Banelings, without centrifugal hooks, this is gonna be very difficult to pull off. Maru right now scans. He sees that there's a bunch of Banelings morphing in. Wants to jump on them, but he can't. Okay, they finish up. Banelings! Oh, Widow Mines! Oh, beautiful Widow Mine detonation there. That might actually just seal the deal. Because this hatchery going down is really tricky. Yeah, GG. Our next game, it takes place on the map Starchild. I believe this was the winner for the TOMC 18. 18? Was it 18? I don't know. I think this was the winner for the most recent map contest. Excellent map, by the way. Really like this one. It's pretty, but not dark. For some reason, for many years in StarCraft 2 map making, pretty maps had to be dark. I don't know why. I was never a fan of dark maps. But this map, you know, it feels kind of dark, I guess. But it's still very legible. I remember there was a map called Acolyte. I couldn't see my own units on that map. That was how bad it was. I mean, especially in Zerg versus Zerg. It was a good map, but the only way to properly play it was to go into the settings and turn everything down to the lowest graphics. Which, I guess is how a lot of pro gamers play this game anyways. But, yeah, not a fan personally. The reason, by the way, because I know that some of you may be wondering why a lot of pro gamers play on the lowest graphics. Couple reasons. First off, when you think about it, if you play on the lowest graphics, it will only show you crucial information. These little, like, muddled edges on the creep spread, not relevant at all, right? You want to see exactly where the creep goes. And on the lowest graphics, you only get the critical information and none of the flair, right? None of the beauty. So distinguishing units and creep spread and all that just simply becomes easier on the lower graphics. Secondly, though, when StarCraft 2 first came out, believe it or not, this was a pretty demanding game. I mean, considering it was released in 2010, I mean, we did have a couple of graphical improvements since then, but considering this game came out over a decade ago, I think that StarCraft 2 still looks amazing. That's something actually that all of the Blizzard games have, right? Like all of the Blizzard games in general, graphically, they age really, really nicely. I mean, if you look at other games from 2010, yeah, the other games don't look nearly as good anymore. Anyhow, back in 2010, this game was pretty demanding. So if you would travel to a tournament and you're, well, used to practicing on the highest graphics on your own computer at home, and then suddenly you get to a tournament and they only have terrible graphics cards and you can't actually run the game any higher than like medium graphics or whatever, it might be a bit confusing. To just keep it as, yeah, comfortable as possible, a lot of players started off playing lowest graphics and they sort of stuck around. Anyway, these days not really a problem anymore, I don't think. The creep spread, by the way, from Solar has been amazing in this series, hasn't it? Like, I feel like... I mean, we should spread that one, though. Go. Go, little tumor, go. Yeah. I mean, could have done it... I heard that's the secret. I don't remember who told me that. It was one of the European Zergs, I think. Anyways, they told me that the secret to spreading creep is to always put it at the edge of the creep. Which sounds really obvious, but for some reason, we oftentimes see that creep tumor only going like 80% of its maximum range. It's kind of funny. Yeah, same for this one. Could have... Anyways. Well, Maru scans anyways. He sees exactly what's going on. Actually, I don't know about that one. Maybe that one was on the edge. I've seen a lot of dead Hellions so far in this series. Maru is driving them deep into those mineral lines. Get it! Okay, he does go down. Whew. He's been driving them very deep into the mineral lines, and I'm not a fan. Viking over here as well. Usually when you see a Viking like that, it's an indicator that there is likely going to be a Liberator or a Banshee on the back of it, but not in this particular game. So Maru once again, okay, transitioning towards, this is actually kind of a funny opener, transitioning towards, well, 5 barracks here on 3 CCs. So combat shields are going to finish up after Stimpack, I would imagine. Yeah, 1-1 has already started up as well. So these upgrades, 1-1 as well as combat shields, they're going to finish up right around the same time. So if Maru wants to go for a big push, right then would certainly be a good moment to do so. Since the Widow Mines worked out really well in the previous game, he's once again opted to go for those in this one as well. Can't blame the man. I think it's a good call. Okay, so Solar not going for any aggression. Apparently just taking that previous loss. It happens. No big deal. Yeah, look how conservative he actually is with the creep spread, which is kind of interesting, right? I mean, obviously he knows that there's a bunch of Marines out there, so he'd rather save the tumors, but... yeah. Something to be said to just spread them all the way at the edge. Okay, Hydraling Bane is going to be the name of the game right here for Solar. So Hydras can outrange Widow Mines, which is the reason why he decides to go for Hydras here. Don't think that's a bad idea at all. This is, of course, played on the current StarCraft 2 patch. Unless by the time you're watching this, somehow, some way, the new patch is live. I mean, I'm uploading this video in like 3 days, so... yeah, I don't think so, but... oh, okay. That would be crazy. Believe it or not, there would actually have to be someone in at the office at Blizzard in order to publish the patch. So, yeah, anyway. Hydra's not as fast as there will be in the next patch. Don't think there's currently a lot of people at the office yet. No. No. Anyways. It's gonna be a 4th command center, but we are gonna go up to 8 barracks here. So this is similar to the build we saw earlier in the series, but not quite the same. Alright. Maru picking up and getting out of there with everything. Doing an excellent job trading so far. Yeah, look at that. 2,000 Zerglings, I guess. Well, minerals at least worth of Zerglings, roughly, have gone down in this game. Speaking of Zerglings. Oh, Widow Mines! Getting huge detonations. A couple of units here will still get killed from the Terran, but at the same time there's a push happening on the right side of the map, and that's where Maru is focusing the majority of his attention right now. Banelings are here. Can he retarget to the Banes? No, he will not. Good control there by Solar. 5 SCVs, 6 SCVs have gone down. I think ideally you want to play this off of more drones. Yeah. So Solar is at 60 or 76 workers right here. He wants to add on a couple more, and preferably also another base. So on Starchild, I would imagine you take this one as your 5th every time, because there's not really a good alternative. But the creep spread is lacking in that direction, so it's really difficult to pull off. I actually think we should have creep tumors over here too, and then spread towards the opposite end. Or maybe just knock down these rocks. But creep lacking in this area of the map is tricky too, because it makes defending a 5th base very hard. Yeah, Maru's stimming in, expecting a 5th hatchery, but he doesn't see one. So if you don't see a 5th hatch right now, I think Zerg has to pretty much go for an all-in. Right? I mean, 2-2 is going to finish up momentarily. Both of the Hydralisk upgrades are going to be done very soon as well. Hive does start up, however, here for Solar, which is kind of funny. I think he probably wants to go for an attack, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh, he decides to go into a Lurker then. Maybe he's really concerned for a timing attack from the Terran? I mean, obviously, you could always crush that attack from the Terran and then, you know, counter-attack after that. Well, there's a chance that Maru is going to go for a move. But honestly, as long as Maru sees that this is 4-base Zerg, why push? Like, there's really no reason. I mean, it can trade a little bit, right? If you can fight off creep, that's fine. If you can trade a little bit, get some value out of his units like this, that's fine. I think Solar is making a mistake here, misplaying this map. He's going to have a very hard time taking that expansion at the 12 o'clock position. And if he can't take that one, he's going to run out of juice here very soon. Now, he's going into Lurkers. That's nice, of course. That will slow down the pacing of this game. But he's saying, okay, I guess I won't get Lurkers. Or, sorry, I won't get a 5th base until I get Lurkers out. Okay. Yeah, maybe that one's pretty viable. I feel like that one is... Maybe I'm wrong, actually. I'm talking like the 12 o'clock position is the only viable base. Now, mind you, I've only seen a handful of games on this map so far. It just seems to me that this one is much easier to take, but maybe I'm mistaken. Especially with Terran expanding towards the left side of the map here. Yeah, if Terran is expanding towards the left side of the map, he's actually also taking the mirrored base on the other end. Maybe it is easier to take that expansion on the right instead. I kind of expected to be seeing the 4th base over here for the Terran, but... These players are, of course, just doing whatever feels most comfortable. That expansion is so exposed, by the way, man. I feel like there could have been like 4 groups of medevacs marching on over in that direction or flying on over in that direction, only to, yeah, just snipe this expansion easy peasy. I'm surprised there hasn't been, to be honest. Solar has not had any way of defending this expo in a while, but Maru must be thinking at this point too, if you haven't taken that base, there has to be another expansion somewhere. There's no way that you're just on 4 bases, right? I mean, that would just be a little bit funny. Anyways, in the end, Solar is now at Hydras, Lurkers, Vipers, Lynx, and Banes. This is what he was aiming for. He's going to additional upgrades. Adrenal Glands is finishing up. I'm assuming he's already got Seismic Spines. Yeah, he's already got the ranged upgrade for the Lurkers. So Solar is getting everything he needs. Now having Lurkers in position here is going to be sweet. Very difficult. Ooh. New TikTok dance. Love to see it. Now it's going to be very difficult here for the Terran to get in here. Yeah, no way, dude. Oh my god. Corpse of that Terran. Completely disrespected there. He's crazy. Anyways, 3-3 is going to finish up for Maru. But I think it's time for him to bring out the big guns. Not the Marines. Where are the big guns? There's a big gun coming up. There are multiple... Okay, there's more big guns. The Ghosts. They're being added into the mix here very shortly. Nidus network in the meantime on the other side of the map for Solar. Love to see that. Parasitic bomb here as well, just to be as annoying as possible. Terran army venturing out once more to that 12 o'clock position, and it's gonna get cancelled. Rocks are finally gone, by the way. This map actually seems kind of tricky, doesn't it? The movement here for Solar in his defensive spot. Careful with the Viper. Hello. The movement here for Solar seems kind of dicey. It's a cool little ghost skin right here. Sorry. I'll stop zooming in on the ghost, but what can I do? Ooh. Maru's dance here on the edge of creep is amazing, by the way. Nidus Worm coming up. This is not inside of the main base. I mean, he probably wanted to, but there's a ring of missile turrets. No way that is going to happen. He sees this Nidus Worm over here right now. Do you still want to unload? I think you do. There's not that many Zerg units. I guess he's busy, though, looking over here as well. Just forcing the attention of the Terran in a different spot is already nice. As Solar right now is setting up a little surround here. Beautiful spread in those Widow Mines, by the way. Amazing work right here by Maru. Parasitic bomb here, but good splits as well on the Medivacs. He's going to be forced to pick up and get on out of there. Pretty manageable, honestly. Ghost Academy coming out. Another Nidus Worm. This one also gets spotted right away. Maru, okay. Maru has stepped up his game a little bit here. Game number 1, he was having fun. Game number 2 and 3 didn't go his way either. Apparently now, the time to, play solid has arrived. I mean, I'm sure he was trying in the previous games as well, but seems like he's taking this one a little bit more seriously than some of the previous games anyways. No more conversations either, right? Anyways, tactical nuke. Flying across the map right now, heading on over towards the outer expansion. Where's the Ghost? The Ghost is over here. Oh, I just realized that she actually sits down on one knee. She sits down in order to cast that tactical nuke. Speaking of more nukes, though, there is a chance that we're going to see a couple more coming out of the Ghost here. Well, currently, I don't think that Maru has a Ghost available, a nuke available. He's got plenty of Ghosts. And this 12 o'clock position is tricky. Very difficult for Zerg to properly secure this section of the map if they don't spread creep here earlier on. Even a Nidus Worm right now coming up over there, maybe to try and help with the surround. Snipes just going down left, right, and center. No more scans? Oh, is he out of scans? I would imagine so. He's got 4 command centers that haven't morphed into orbitals yet. Yeah, he starts that up right now. He's looking for scans. He's like, wait a second, didn't I make those command centers? Ah, that explains it. Okay. The final lurkers also get sniped away from this position. Got a feeling that that is going to be the end for this base, although if it's up to Solar, he's going to try and defend that once more. Parasitic bomb on the medevac, but good split there once again by Maru. Maru playing fast here, by the way. Well, Solar definitely not playing slow either. 523 actions per minute on average this game so far. Maru seems to be outpacing him, though. And this is the Maru we all love. This is the Maru we all know. This is the way he's won over $1 million in prize money in StarCraft 2. Nothing all too fancy, nothing all too crazy, just solid, straightforward gameplay. Now, he needs to be careful. He does not lose those ghosts. Okay. The screams of nightmares right here for Terran players. GG is cold, though. There was a little bit of aggression on the other side of the map, but none of that particularly relevant. Okay. I was wondering about that. I was just looking at the map pool for the OlimoLeague that this particular series is the grand finals of, and they only have 5 maps listed. So apparently in game 6 of this best of 7, we find ourselves back on the first map of this series, which is Altitude. Solar opening up a little bit differently by going for a, well, spawning pool first. He hasn't really gone for that yet in this series, so I don't mind seeing that at all. Maybe Solar also getting just a little bit of nervousness, right? And his, you know, when he was 3-0 leading against Maru, I mean, winning 4-0 against your teammate as well, against the guy who's considered to be, well, either like the best or the second best player on the planet. I mean, winning 4-0 is pretty sick. Anyhow, not meant to be apparently. Solar now 3-2, still leading. But those last 2 games, they've been quite dominant for Maru. So in game number 1 of this series, we saw Maru going for that funky little mech opener, right? I think, by the way, these Marines, that Reaper, are going to be able to shut that down pretty easily, or that 1 Marine. In the end, 6 Zerglings for 1 Marine and 2 SCVs. I mean, obviously this comes at the cost as well of a delayed hatchery, so it's a bit of a wash here in the early game. Anyways, in the previous game that we saw these two playing on this map, they decided to go for, well, Maru that is, he decided to go for a bit of a spicy build with the triple factory and all that. Not this time around. We're going for the 1-1-1. No add-on here on... Okay, I was gonna say. Gonna switch it over. No add-on there on the factory yet. He's gonna switch it over with the barracks reactor. We'll see if he decides to go for attack lab or... No? None of that? Anyways. Bit of a more conventional build right here for Maru. This is something we've seen time and time again. I guess what threw me off right there is the fact that this was a little bit late, but that's because of the fact that there were Zerglings at his base earlier. Anyhow, Hellions are still coming up. What are we gonna do to the, okay, I was gonna say, what are we gonna do with the starport? It's gonna be a Liberator. So Hellions are Liberators once again. It's kind of funny to me because for the longest time, Hellion Liberator was the standard. And then Zerg players started punishing it by going for a lot of roach-based pushes. And then the Terran players for the last year or so have pretty much all switched back to Hellion Banshee. So if I can make a prediction, if this is going to become once again very popular, and I've seen Clem do this as well, I've seen Beyond play it too. If this is once again going to get very popular, I think we're going to see a lot of roach pushes again. And then when the roach pushes become a little bit too prevalent, the Terrans will go back to playing Banshees. And then I guess this cycle just continues. Anyway, scout over here in the main base. He saw all the structures he needed to see. Nothing all too crazy. He may have even spotted the Liberator too. But I think Solar should be ready. Yeah. Spore Crawler coming up on the edge of his main base. Creep. Are we going to go for one in the natural in the third as well? Nah. Nah, we're too cool for that. Okay, I was going to say, maybe one at the third base is not a terrible idea. When you think about it though, where is this Liberator going to go? Most likely it's going to go to the main. I mean, would it really go to the natural? Not really, no. Natural is not particularly relevant. I mean, maybe it could scoot around the back later, but... Now we're doing the little Spore Crawler dance. Yeah. Hey, maybe a Spore Crawler over here would not have been so bad after all. While they're dancing, though, in this area, we do have a couple of Hellions here. Okay, oh, this could get really toasty. Nicely done. Well, Queen goes down. Really toasty for her as well. Only 3 drones, actually, though. Hello. He's busy microing over here at the third base. Those drones, okay. They really need to get back to mining. That's a big loss. Yep, look at that. I mean, it only lasts for a little bit, right? But not a bad start here for Maru, all things considered. But you need to be careful. Once again, double upgrades here as well, by the way, from Solar. Also, an old school build. We've seen this before, but... For the longest time, Zerg players have been opting to go for the quick Baneling speed upgrade, right? So for the longest time, we saw double upgrades, and then into a lair, and then eventually a Baneling nest with Baneling speed. Then over the last year, maybe the last 2 years, we've seen a lot of Baneling speed first, or at least, you know, after the early game upgrades. And then after the Baneling speed, you go for the +1/+1 research in the Evo chambers. But Solar mixing it up a little bit. Yeah, so it's a lair together with a Baneling nest at about 6 minutes. That's late. That Baneling speed is going to be, yeah, very, very delayed. Okay, so no cheeky mech all-in this time around. Would have loved to see it again, even though it did very little in game 1. I mean, I didn't think it was particularly great, but it was fun to see. No more siege tanks, I don't think, in this series either. We're gonna be going for the good old Widow Mines. Not a bad idea. Stimpack at this point is done. 1-1 is about to finish as well. He wants to get a council on this 4th. And without Bane speed, without 1-1, this is really tricky. Yeah. So this is where Bane speed is super good, right? He's dancing until his own 1-1 is done, I think. But, like, he can't. Yeah. I mean, by now, the infantry weapons and the infantry armor are finished as well for Maru. Just trying to wait until those queens shoot enough spines to deflect this, I suppose. Good control on the queens, by the way. Terran reinforcements have been called for, and they're going to be running across the map. One of the queens has gone down. If Solar ends up losing this 4th hatchery, that is going to make this game very hard. He's waiting for 1-1 research. So I think that's going to finish up right now. Yeah. Ay, ay, ay. Really beautiful control by Maru, by the way. Like, just fantastic. Resources lost. Very heavily in his favor right now, and he's not done yet. Bane speed is not even started, by the way. I think he meant to start it, but probably forgot it right here in the heat of battle. He's decided to go for an infestation pit and a Hydra then. There's no way he meant to do that. Without Baneling speed, how in the world are you going to stop follow-up attacks right now? He's probably going to realize momentarily, but already a little bit too late. Maru is just rallying whatever he's got towards the other side of the map, starting up additional barracks production too. 4th command center is about to finish up. 2nd factory is about to finish up. Maru is barely getting started. Oh no. He must realize right now that he doesn't have vein speed. Like, it should be finished, even with quick 1-1. If it's intentional, I would be very surprised. Like, why the infestation pit? The only reason for infestation pit is to tech up further, and this is not really a game where you can properly tech up further so far. He decides to go straight into Hive. Maybe it is intentional? I have a very hard time imagining it's intentional. Well, he's going into the Hydra speed before the Baneling speed. Yeah, okay, GG. I'm not sure what Solar was trying to achieve there, to be honest. And that, once again, brings us to Lazarus Wastes. The rubber match. Maru, 3-0 behind at the beginning of this series, has evened up the score. Solar must be feeling pretty terrible at this point. I mean, a reverse sweep after being 3-0 ahead in a best-of-7 is unheard of. Not even come to mind. I mean, I'm sure it's happened, historically speaking, in StarCraft 2, but I mean, that is uncommon. Oh, a little bit early there on the drone scent as well. You wanted to go to the low ground, but okay, now we go. Yeah, you can see some nerfs coming into play there. Small mistake, nothing all too crazy, but no more friendly banter, right? I believe last time we were on Lazarus Wastes, about an hour ago, there was some friendly banter still happening. At this point, that is not the case. Maru is also known to be a bit of a madman. I wouldn't have been surprised to see him go for a bunch of proxy barracks on the other side of the map. And this is obviously something that Solar, well, is well aware of. So, yeah, maybe a little bit concerned for something cheesy like that. But Maru opting to go for a very standard start here so far. Fair enough. Hatch into a gas, into a spawning pool. So usually 16 supply hatchery, 18 supply gas geyser, and then 17 supply spawning pool. Then you ready the next 3 drones into the gas. But if you want to, you can go for a really quick 3rd base, pull one of the drones out of gas at 60, pull another one as well, and send that one towards the 3rd. Make the 3rd base, start up link speed eventually with the 1 drone that's still returning gas. You'll finish up link speed by the time that 4 Hellions can get to your side of the map, but first the first 2 can get a little bit tricky. What's the build right here for Maru? I'm assuming it's a factory here on the back of this. Ooh. Okay. the SCV that was tasked with building the supply depot that started that one up as well. I feel like it could have been a little bit quicker, but fair enough. Next 50 gas goes straight towards the reactor. And then once the factory is done, we'll do the big switcheroo. Probably go into a starport as well on the back of it. Here's that Reaper. Okay, getting a Zergling. It's a Zergling, Lester. Getting a... No. Smaller tap of Zerg. It's my best American accent. It's not very good. Anyways, okay, so we're gonna go for a third CC before the starport. Fair enough. I mean, he's only got one gas. Could have known. Now we're gonna go starport eventually. Now we're gonna do the big switcheroo. Love the little jump up pad, by the way, for the Reaper on this map. It's pretty, right? I kind of like the way it looks. Okay, so this is just setting itself up for a standard macro game here so far. I would have loved to see Solar go for some sort of roach aggression. I'm actually a little surprised he decided to play macro every time. I know that's really his way. Like, he doesn't play a particularly spicy style of Zerg. But, you know, when you have 4 shots, I feel like you do it, right? At least once. It's not a difficult build. He knows it for sure. Probably just not a fan of it, but... Anyhow, I guess once more, Solar is opting to try to beat Maru at a macro game. Didn't work out the last 3 times. To be fair, I don't know what he was doing in the previous game, though. That bailing speed was nowhere to be seen. Maybe he GG'd out as soon as he realized he didn't have it. He's like, oh my god, what? GG. It happens. Mistakes are made. Come on, Brenda, you can do it. Spread the creep, put your back into it. No? Alright, Brenda. Then not. I mean, I don't want to force you into anything. But you had the energy for it and feel like you were setting yourself up for it. Scout in the main base right now confirms the additional barracks. That's, well, nice to see, because now you know at least what you're playing against. No mech. And once more, double Evo here. Oh, okay. So, double Evo before Baneling Nest. Oh, wait. We're going for a lair. Additional gas. Are we going to go Baneling Nest already? Ooh, we're going 4 gases here. I mean, you can go straight into a Spire if you want to. Muta Ling is good. Oh, okay, it's a Roach Warren. That makes a lot more sense. I was getting a little bit confused there. Okay, so Lara's gonna finish up. He should go for 1-1 research here. Maybe that's an attack, actually. Maybe he does go for an aggressive build this time around. But a more passive-aggressive build. Probably +1/+1 roaches. Although he really needs to start up 1-1. Solar. Solar. Okay, there we go. Important to not forget about, you know, important upgrades. Then we go for the Glio Reconstitution. There we go. Okay, I just have to coach Solar through this game, guys. Hold on. Okay, so what you do next, Solar, is drawn up until 66. Possibly you can go for a 4th hatchery if you want to. But then after that, I need you to go for non-stop roach production, okay? Sometimes players need a bit of a coach. Now, I know this series was played a couple... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, okay? Okay, 4th hatchery. Gotcha, yeah. So now all you need to do is hit all of your queen injects. And then just make a stupid amount of roaches. And then what you do is you attack right when Glio Reconstitution and 1-1 finish up, okay? Don't worry, I have done a lot of StarCraft 2 coaching over the years, and this is the build that teach every Zerg player, because it's amazing. This is a classic. This is one of the first build orders that StarCraft 2 ever, or StarCraft 2 players, I guess, ever invented. You hit a huge power spike when these upgrades are done. Maru at this point hasn't scouted anything, so he doesn't see the Roach Warren, he doesn't see the 1-1 research. For all he knows right now, it could be Roach play, and I think... Or, sorry, it could be Ling Bane play, and I think he is making that assumption as he's going still into Widow Mines. Widow Mines not really what you want to play against Roaches. I love actually the fact that Solar is only showing him a small group of Zerglings. He's hiding all of the Roaches, and now they're finally spotted. He needs them to keep that 4th hatchery alive. Okay, Solar. Your time to shine is coming very soon. We gotta go across the map momentarily. Push back this army. Get across. The Zerglings have already gone across, actually. This is really good right now for Solar. Ooh, okay. Ravagers are coming up as well. 1-1 is finishing up. Excellent timing attack right here by Solar. This is a really scary one to stop if you don't have siege tanks. And Maru sort of autopiloted after playing like 4 games with Widow Mines in a row. He decided to go for, well, Widow Mines once more. And with Widow Mines, it's a really difficult unit comp right here to start up. Maru right now hitting a huge supply block as well. A couple of Zerglings trying to sneak around the back. Widow Mines do connect, but Corrosive Biles get rid of them really quickly. There's one more there in the mix. It's going to need to get a big hit. Maru right now up with his back against the wall, but he's still behind a wall. He's in between a wall and a wall, apparently. You start up a bunch of random supply depots in the natural as well. No longer supply blocked, going into siege tanks right now, as well as 2-2 research. I feel like that 2-2 research is very greedy, but he wants to apparently try and see if he can, well, come out swinging again when that upgrade finishes up. The problem is, Solar is intending on winning this series before that the upgrades finish up. Getting up the ramp is a difficult job, though. Okay, he's starting to break through right now. Corrosive Biles are lending with a bunch of flying units as well. Marines getting a ton of value. Even mules are dropped in the middle of that fight. Siege tank not sieged up, probably on purpose, wanting to try and see if he can put it in a better spot, because Corrosive Biles can land anywhere, anytime. He picks up, gets it out of there, tries to defend the main base right now, but 32 SCVs have already gone down. And in the end, I've got a feeling that despite the fact that Solar almost ended up losing with a reverse sweep, I think in the end he is the winner of this best-of-7 series against Maru. I mean, the supply counts do not lie. He's 100 supply ahead. Now, it's 100 supply worth of roaches, I guess. But they're streaming across the mini-map here as well. Siege tank in the main base. Trying to get into a good spot. And honestly, it's got a pretty good position right now. Problem is, this is 4 base Zerg versus barely 1 base Terran. And I'm not very good at math, but I think I know enough. Well, Solar is okay. He's playing this super safe. Baneling Nest coming up. +2/+1 has started as well. So he's making a transition towards Ling Bane. Maru's, yeah, NG base also got spotted and sniped. So no 2-2 research here. I mean, he's gonna try. Maru is gonna have to pull a rabbit out of a hat. But like a sick rabbit, man. Like something that you just do not expect at all. Like you can see the rabbit coming from a mile away right now. He decides to load what little army he's got into medevacs. Fair enough. Gets spotted. There's an overlord here. Okay, he unloads. And this is now Maru sitting here as well, probably just... Yeah, what do you do, right? I mean, maybe he can win against a weaker Zerg. If Maru were to play against me right now, he could probably still squeeze out a win. I mean, 100 supply lead is difficult to give away. I would be pushing up this ramp. For what it's worth, I'd be pushing up this ramp if I was Solar here. I mean, I was already coaching Solar, so maybe not a terrible idea. Okay, Solar, here's what you do. Whatever you want, okay? Whatever you do, Solar, you do not want your opponent to mine 3 bases. There's really no reason for that to ever happen. You have enough army to contain him. Pushing up the ramp, difficult call to make. Maybe not. Okay, lucky shot right there at the medevacs. I appreciate it. But yeah, you might want to even get like burrow or something to like burrow a Zergling there, or just put something in that location. Maybe an overlord pooping creep. Whatever you need. He spots the army once again. Excellent movement here by Solar, man. But yeah, the last thing you want here is Terran getting back to 3 base economy. They're gonna have to make a move out onto the map shortly, because, well, their main and their natural are gonna run out of juice. And if that's the case, you can snipe them on the low ground rather than pushing up the ramp. That is a lot of siege tanks, though. 5 siege tanks, spread really wonderfully. A couple structures in between. If Maru could build structures on the ramp, he probably would have. Giving that one a nice little touch-up as well. Making sure it's pristine. 175 health. Ultra Cavern coming up, by the way, for Solar. Solar's playing as safe as possible right now, okay? He does not want to take any chances. Viper coming up. Okay, Solar, I think you might be going a little too crazy here, man. But I guess he was 3-0 ahead, and now he wants to win. Okay, eventually he runs forward. Maru sees the army, and he decides to tap out. And it is indeed Solar who obtains the victory. Hey, in case you're unfamiliar, I plan on uploading a lot of videos this year again as well. So if you aren't subscribed already, make sure you do so. Hit the little notification bell too, so you get notified as soon as future videos go live. For now, though, have a great rest of your day, have a great rest of your year, and I hope to see you once again tomorrow for another one.